The economic phenomenon I have chosen is age discount pricing within Australia. The purpose of this report is to identify whether this phenomenon is an issue that needs correcting through use of economic tools and models. Age discounts, what are they? Age discounts are a form of price discrimination where the price of a good or admission to an event is based on age. Age discounts are usually categorized by child, student, adult, and seniors. In certain cases, children under a certain age are given free admission to eat for free. The economic tool that will be used to analyze this issue is price discrimination. Price discrimination occurs when identical goods or services are sold at different price levels from the same provider. It is categorized into three types. First degree, where every seller is assumed to know the maximum price that every consumer is willing to pay. This occurs when firms charge different prices for every unit consumed. The firm is able to charge at the maximum possible price for each single unit, which enables them to acquire all available consumer surplus. Second degree, prices vary depending on the quantity and demand. Larger quantities are available at a lower unit price. This is particularly extensive in sales linked to industrial consumers, where bulk buyers enjoy higher discounts. It can also apply to quality, for example first class and economy airline tickets, where the common factor is customers differentiate and group themselves. Third degree, this involves selling the same product at different prices to buyer segments. This occurs when a company cuts the market into segments and uses different fixed prices for each group. Prices vary between segments, the assumption being that these attributes factor into a customer's willingness to pay. Price discrimination is a pervasive phenomenon in many markets, such as consumer product markets, travel, transport, telecommunication, and many other service markets. It takes many forms and is a phenomenon which can have both positive and negative effects for consumers as well as for welfare. The analysis of price discrimination has deep roots in the economics discipline, where it has been long recognized that it can be for both good and for bad, and sometimes it is even necessary. In the market of age discounts, various factors account for why such strategies are put in place. Many discounts we observe in the market are targeted at seniors not because they are poorer, but because evidence suggests that they are careful shoppers, mindful of prices, and searching for deals. The discounts at cinemas may be the result of unselfishness by owners, but it also simply could be the realization of different willingness to pay by seniors, a group that is easily identified and segmented by the host. Seniors pay less for groceries than non-seniors who shop in the very same stores, not because of discounts labeled senior discounts, but because they take advantage of coupons and random sales. In that case, the store recognizes different willingness to pay by a group but employs indirect price discrimination to provide the discount. Certain factors must be applicable for age discounts to be put in place. First and foremost, market control. A seller must be able to control the price. The second condition is that there are different buyers. A seller must be able to identify different groups of buyers, and each group must have a different price elasticity of demand. Lastly, price discrimination requires that each group of buyers can be segmented and sealed into distinct markets. Price discrimination is ineffective if trade among groups is possible. Those buyers that would be charged a higher price could simply purchase a good from those who purchase it at a lower price. Organizations have identified that elasticity is a major factor. The willingness to pay by seniors is at a much lower rate than the counterparts. Therefore, if the same price was charged to all consumers, there would be an inefficient allocation of resources. Consider a movie theater. Each of the two groups, youngsters and seniors, have their own demand curve, and with each demand curve comes a corresponding marginal revenue curve. Because the industry has the power to control prices and can segment and seal each demand, price discrimination is bound to arise. The demand curve and the corresponding marginal revenue curve for movie patrons between ages of 13 and 18 is displayed below. The relatively steep demand curve indicates a relatively low elasticity. This group is not very sensitive to price and are willing to pay a much higher rate. The demand curve and the corresponding marginal revenue curve for movie patrons over the age of 50 is displayed below. The relatively flat demand curve indicates a relatively high elasticity. This group is very sensitive to price. Without senior discounts, there would be an inefficient allocation of resources they would be unwilling to pay. Further inefficient uses include predatory pricing tactics. This is used to harm competition at the suppliers level and increase a firm's market power in the long run. It can be illegal in some cases and might be investigated by the competition authorities such as the Competition and Markets Authority (CMA). In conclusion, companies benefit from price discrimination because they can capture 100% of the available consumer surplus, entice customers to purchase larger quantities of their product or services, or entice otherwise uninterested consumer groups. While price discrimination is the act of charging different prices for the same good, there are different price discrimination strategies that can benefit a company. Such practices usually result in a higher level of output than would be achieved if a firm charged a single price to all consumers. As a result, more people can afford to buy the good in question, and a greater level of allocative efficiency is achieved. A ban on price discrimination cannot be justified with restaurants' fairness considerations since, in their view, price discrimination will typically tend to increase fairness. Furthermore, in relatively competitive markets, price discrimination will typically tend to make the competition even keener. However, in markets without effective competition, price discrimination will tend to hurt consumers. Age discount pricing does not need to be revised within Australia as it allows for a more efficient allocation of resources. This phenomenon accounts for factors such as elasticity. Without these considerations, many consumers will be unwilling to pay for the goods, and therefore this allows for organizations to access a satisfying surplus. Elasticity also considers prices different groups are willing to pay, meaning price ranges that are applied accounts for these factors, thus consumers are receiving equilibrium prices. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.